the principals of various political entities here, our host here, the leader of opposition, honorable members of parliament present here, members of the press, all the dignitaries. First of all, I would like to correct the impression here. I was invited as the road mayor here. Yes, I hold that title. I'm proud of it. I was duly elected, but I'm not here as the road mayor of Kampala. I am here as the acting president of the FDC, sitting at Katonga, now in transit to PFF. So I would like that to be duly recognized because we had a delegates conference that convened at Katonga and I was duly elected. And we have an institution we are running there. We are in the process of morphing into PFF. So I headed a delegation here comprising of Honorable Waf here, Honorable Bakandonda here, and also Honorable Doreen Nyanjula here. I would like to thank the principals here of various political entities for organizing this arrangement, this forum, to jointly come out to condemn these transgressions. This is not a matter for Dr. Chiza Besigye. It's not a matter for Obedi Kamlegea. It's not a matter for the NUP victims who are languishing before the General Court Martial and of course in other ungazetted detention facilities. It's not a matter for General Muntu or any of us. It's a matter for all Ugandans. We are talking about universal human rights. We are talking about a travesty of justice, which is under our watch, superintended over by people who are supposed to take charge of the country under the existing constitutional order. The greatest concern to all of us, the Constitution right now is a mere paper tiger. And that should concern all of us. We oftentimes talk about the Constitution being the supreme law of the land, but that's no more. It's an illusory document which is taking a direction parallel to what the powers that be are doing. It's incumbent upon all of us, regardless of our political differences, different political affiliations, to rally in a single file and take on the bull by the horns. And I'm glad this morning we have assembled here to make this proclamation that we stand in unison against this injustice. We thank you very, very much, all of you, the principals, for the firm stance you have taken. For the record, the General Court Martial is not a court, and I will request from our vocabulary to expand it. We should expand it from our vocabulary. It's a disciplinary committee. If you want to be civil enough, you can call it a tribunal. But it's not a court within the meaning of the law. It's a misnomer, even under the Constitution, under our laws. It's not a court of competent record. It's not a court of judicature. When we are looking at the hierarchy of courts, it's nowhere. It's like the discipline and, is it called Discipline and Rules Committee of Parliament? It's not a court. So by continuing to call it a court, we are sanitizing it. And we give that facade of, trial being conducted by an impartial court, which is not the case. So let us call it what it is, a disciplinary committee of the military, where they are dragging civilians to subject them to martial law. And it's high time we came out together, assertively and aggressively, to say enough is enough. We have exhausted the legal processes of challenging the jurisdiction of this tribunal over civilians. We have done that before. And I would like colleagues here, without singling out individuals, at least the Honorable Medard Segona here led us very well in the case of Kabaziguruka, where a court unequivocally pronounced itself on this matter. Unequivocally. 2021, a decision was made. The Attorney General made an appeal, which is still pending. And those of you who are interested in this ruling, which was given by Justice Owinyidoro, 2021, staying execution of that proclamation, they were very instructive directives. He said, since this is a matter of great public concern, urgent in nature, it will be fixed and disposed of expeditiously. That was way back 5th August 2021. We are now in 2024. Maybe in his diction, with all due respect, the word expeditious has acquired a new meaning. Because if up to now it has not been disposed of, and I want to tell you for the record, since then, the justices of the Supreme Court were handling, many have passed on. Justice O.P.O.L. died, Justice Arach died, Justice Justice who retired, Mwonda, Faith Mwonda. Now it's just Chibita and Owinyidoro who are still there. And there is no indication as to when it's going to be disposed of. Members of Parliament who are here, Article 79 is very, very clear. It's a duty of all of you to protect, jealously, to protect the Constitution, the sanctity of the Constitution, its spirit and the letter. Let us rise to the occasion, regardless of our political divide. As I conclude, the proceedings continue tomorrow. The proceedings, the Impandi proceedings, continue tomorrow. The worst experience you can have as a practicing advocate is to appear before that committee. We had long taken decisions never to appear there. I remember, for the record, I want to again remind those who are not aware. It's not the first time Dr. Besigye is appearing there. 2005 he was there. And when we appeared with my brother here, Yusuf Nsibambi, then one of our legal counsel was bold enough, and this is what is demanded of all of us. The late Samuel Kareganjuba. When he looked at the whole hostile environment in that room, by the late General Erias Lukwago, he said this is a kangaroo court. He described it aptly. This is a kangaroo court. Then Erias Lukwago, in a bullish manner, with all, may his soul rest in eternal peace, asked, who has said it? Who has said it? There was a deafening silence within, I don't want to call it a courtroom. A room for a committee, I don't know, is it a committee room? In that committee room, there was deafening silence. Then Sam Kareganjuba boldly stood up and said, I said it. Tumwine rolled his eyes 360 degrees. Said, he didn't know what to do about him. This is exactly what we need to do. Simply because you could not drag him to the dock, he had to pounce on the little ones, myself and Alak. We had to pay the price. We were dragged into the dock, court-martialed, and convicted. So I appear before that court, both as a counsel and as a convict. And look here, gentlemen, this is a very serious matter. You are having non-lawyers presiding over serious matters. The offense under, under Section 128 of the UPDF Act, under which Obed and Besigye are charged, carries a maximum sentence of death. Death, once they are convicted. Death. Firearms Act, you know the sentence, being in possession of military hardware. These are very serious offenses. In the case of Amon Tumwebaze, which was decided in 2022, the Constitutional Court was unequivocal. They said all cases which are within the purview of the civilian court cannot be tried in the General Court Martial under the Penal Code, Firearms Act, and whatnot. Their jurisdiction is restricted to only matters which are under the Penal Code and for service offenses. Now the charge sheet of Dr. Besigye, now it is stretching to Geneva, it is going to Greece, Kenya, wherever. Ladies and gentlemen, I kindly ask, let's rise to the occasion. It's the reason lawyers from all over the world are joining us. This morning, Martha Karua has come back. She has already landed. We are going to have a press conference shortly after here, and members of the press, you are invited. She has a package for you. On the next phase, I think we are now going to engage another gear. We are in gear number 4 or 5. I don't want to tell you the second gear we are engaging. So shortly after this, I invite you at Stay Hall. You come because there are issues we are trying to address. There is another lawyer who has also joined us from Angola. He has also just touched the ground now. There are those who are coming from Nigeria, South Africa, and across Africa. Let's team together. Let's take the bull by the horns. Let's marshal all the efforts we have. We put an end to this insanity. Together, we must decisively deal with this madness. Otherwise, tomorrow it will be you. Finally, we have it on good record. Dr. Besigye was supposed to be killed at Riverside. This I speak on good authority, and I don't want to mince words. The assignment are given to the mercenaries. Eliminate him, execute him. It was just by the grace of the Lord, a supervening factor came in. I think by divine intervention. Yes, when you talk about one act of God, that is survived by a whisker. Only the act of doing rendition was just an afterthought. But the mission finished him from there. On another occasion, we shall furnish you with the details of the same. So on that note, I want to end here by inviting Mayanja, General Mayanja. No, it's not a general, it's like myself. I remember in the general surety for General Sejusa, the general, and I was flushed out of that committee. So I've been asked to invite senior leader here, Ebo Chibirige Mayanja. But as he comes, leader of opposition, I take exception to the practice here. How can Lord Mayor of the seat, a leader of a political entity, be stripped of my property at the entrance there? I don't even have a copy of the Constitution. I don't have anything, even in my bag. Everything confiscated at the entrance. I don't know why. So anyway, those are the things we need to deal with. We are living in hard times. The floor is yours, Honorable Mayanja. May God bless you.
Of our colleague, and then being arraigned in the court martial. And that's a very, very serious issue for all of us as opposition. I'm sure none of us here is safe. So it is really our duty to come up and take joint action like this. And I thank the leader of opposition for convening us in this fashion, because this is the only way we can really deliver a message that what was done was wrong, it was inhuman. Dr. Besigye was abducted in Kenya. So I'm not so much of a lawyer, but the scene of crime was in Kenya. How Uganda got the jurisdiction to go and abduct people from Kenya, the lawyers will tell us. But I think the Kenyan government also can be said to be involved, because otherwise they neglect the security of Ugandans or the security of non-Kenyans, and which puts all our lives in danger. That when you are in Kenya, anytime you can be abducted. So this case has implications on the East African community, implications on the international system of justice, and so on and so forth. But while all of that is going, we are saying that there is no reason why Dr. Besigye should be kept in prison. He should be, he should be released. He should be released. He should be tried in the civilian courts, because the lawyers have already emphasized this case. So we don't have to say much. It is enough that we have demonstrated this solidarity when one of us is being denied justice. And I want to thank all of you for making it to this interface with the press. So I take this opportunity to invite Honorable Winnie Kiza Besigye as Honorable Winnie Kiza as the next speaker.
Whenever we are in meetings like this, because he speaks last. But as the saying goes, that he who speaks last or who laughs last laughs best. Let me make 2 points. First of all, I thank the Leader of Opposition and NUP for organizing this event. I want to remind the President of Uganda that in 1980, when he went to the bush, 2 people were arrested by the army. One of them was General Salim Saleh. Your Excellency the President, when your brother was arrested, remember the message you sent to the former Vice President and Minister of Defense, the late Paul Mwanga. Because you are not trusting the courts then, you threatened that if he doesn't release your brother, you are going for him. So you should remember that. The way you felt when your brother was arrested is the way Ugandans are feeling when their children, when their brothers are abducted and are subjected to the court-martial. The second person that I want to remind the President of Uganda was his former Secretary General at the time, Honorable Bidandi Sali. Museveni went to the bush today. The following day, Bidandi Sali was arrested and he was incarcerated in the army barracks for 1 year and 4 months. I want to ask the President of Uganda, when you were in Rushikaire's house discussing about going to the bush or discussing about the way forward after the election, there were 2 options. You said you will go to the bush, and the Bidandi said, no, let us go and organize the party. Now you decided to go to the bush, the Bidandis decided to do otherwise. They remained here. I want to ask the President, was Bidandi arrested because he was going to overthrow government? Because you know very well that he was objected to that idea, vehemently objected. So are you telling us that that is what is now happening, that you went to fight? So I wanted to say this maybe our president is no longer recalling what happened then. President, Mr. Museveni, they are correcting me here. The second point I want to make is a clarion call to all Ugandans. As we are sitting here in solidarity against the abduction and consequently the arraigning of Dr. Besigye and his co-accused to the court-martial, what Museveni has succeeded into is to isolate us wherever we are fighting for justice. When I'm being persecuted, NUP is isolated from me. When border borders are being persecuted, the hawkers are in their comfort. When the doctors are being persecuted, the teachers are in their comfort. At no one point, we have come together to fight against injustice as Ugandans. Where are the religious leaders in this? Where are the religious leaders? Where are the academicians? Where are the professionals in this? Where are they? Are they waiting the time when he will go to them and then they call us to come and defend them? In countries where they have fought injustice, the professionals, the religious leaders, the middle class, they all come together to fight this injustice. Until we realize this, until we appreciate this, this injustice shall keep on, shall keep on. So I call upon all those groups to come forward and join this struggle of fighting the injustice. Otherwise, we shall keep on fighting, and we shall keep on fighting in isolation from one another, and we will never succeed. Thank you very much.
A joint statement. I'm going to request Council Lewis Ruongoya to come and read to us that statement that is going to be signed by the senior leaders, a joint statement in solidarity with Dr. Kizza Besigye, Haji Obed Kamulegea, all the other different political prisoners that are being illegally persecuted using the military courts. Kindly read it to us and then we'll sign.
And all distinguished leaders, here is a statement, 9th December 2024. Joint statement on the abduction of Dr. Kizza Besigye and Haji Obed Kamulegea from Kenya and the arraignment before the General Court Martial. We, the undersigned leaders of different political parties and formations, do hereby, 1, condemn the abduction of Dr. Kizza Besigye and Haji Obed Kamulegea from Kenya, a sovereign state, on the 16th of November 2024, in complete violation of domestic, regional, and international laws. 2, condemn their trial in the military court, which has no jurisdiction to try civilians, and further assert our belief that they cannot get a free and fair trial at the General Court Martial, where the military is the complainant, the prosecutor, and the judge. 3, demand an end to the trial of civilians in military courts in adherence of numerous rulings by Uganda's Constitutional Court. All cases involving numerous political prisoners and other civilians must be terminated or transferred to civilian courts. 4, call upon Chief Justice Owiny Dollo and the Supreme Court to rise to the occasion and put a final end to the trial of civilians in military courts and their attendant violations of human rights. 5, demand that the charges against Dr. Kizza Besigye and Haji Obed Kamulegea are dropped, and if not, that they are swiftly transferred to civilian courts bearing jurisdiction to try the alleged offenses. I thank you very much. That is a statement.
Thank you very much, Mr. Rubongoya. And now currently we are going to witness the signing of the statement he has just read.
I'm going to sign on behalf of NUP, General Monty signing on behalf of ANT.
Signing on behalf of EFF.
Honorable Sada
Madam Gaira, on behalf of PPP. Okay, Honorable Ken Luchamu is the man who signed first. On behalf of CT,